What's up, y'all? This that no nonsense, and I've come to you with another video. This is pertaining and similar to the LeBron one. When I tell you that, no, this is a little bit different. I give Russell Westbrook, James Harden credit. They seem to compete well against the Los Angeles Clippers because Rockets are a team which you have to make them work on the IQ side of the ball. Mike D'Antoni believes that just because he runs a good system that he is a good coach. He lacks the qualities of becoming a good coach, such as adjustments. Adjustments is something you have to make under adversity. Mike D'Antoni struggles under adversity. Being stubborn in your ways is a bit of arrogance, and arrogance is part of pride. Mike D'Antoni is a very prideful person. However, James Harden is an even more prideful person, and Russell Westbrook is just plain stubborn. When you look at James Harden and Russell Westbrook, you look at Beavis and Butthead. So they come into the game on Christmas. I watched the first quarter. I knew the Warriors was gonna compete for one quarter, but I feel like once Rockets get up by 7, then they was gonna get up by 10, then 15, then 20. It was gonna be over. However, I looked on my phone. I believe Rockets was up by like probably had been about 9, and then I looked, and then it was Warriors was down by 1. Then I looked, it was close, and then I looked, and all of a sudden Warriors just was up by like 11, which was confusing to me. However, their game plan was simple. They was gonna double team Harden and force Russell Westbrook to beat them. Now, Chene, I believe that's the chick name. She's gonna start talking, and I will say this about her: she is a very good observer. She's one of the better female. Out to be honest with you, out of all of them, she is the best female ESPN analyst that they have in terms of observe. Rachel Nichols talks way too much. Molly pretty much don't know self restraint. Um, and if I'm missing other female reporters or what analysts, you guys can break it down. They also got Ramona Shelburne. They also got the old lady chick, the one that looks like one that looked like one of the Golden Girls chick. What's the girl name? I forgot. Whatever her name is, the Boston Celtics fan, where she's biased. But Chennai, at times she might go off, but most of the time she makes good predictions. And usually former NBA players do this. Some former NBA players sell out, but most often than not, they off. And she played in the WNBA, so she has some knowledge aspect of basketball and how does it work. She is very smart in terms of this, right? So if you are one of those females that believe that quote unquote you guys don't have enough females into the sports, well, you guys should blame Molly and Rachel for that because they're not representing you well. However, you should congratulate Chene because she is representing you well. However, she's going to start talking about it, and I'm going to provide feedback to
And
this.
I know there also are a lot of criticisms of Russell Westbrook's game. He is a guy that, like last night, can go 10 for 30. He is a guy that will struggle shooting. But the Rockets knew what they were doing when they got him. They've had all these versions of Rockets teams before.
They got him out of a desperation move. They also got him because it became apparent that James Harden did not like Chris Paul anymore. Chris Paul knew how to access this offense. However, Chris Paul was unreliable and arrogant. They personalities just didn't mesh in the end. When guys come together, I hear crap like, "Oh man, we're friends." Doesn't mean anything. Just because you're friends, this just doesn't mean anything. Saying that you're friends just doesn't dispel anything. Doesn't dispel any concerns. You still got to go on the court and play. So Chris Paul has is a true playmaker. He has the ability to make plays out of single coverage. When you look at a James Harden and we look at a Russell Westbrook, they need double coverage or to break down defense to make plays. So against a great defensive team that can switch everything, they're not going to make as much plays. Pretty much their assist comes from their game, right? However, now you got Russell Westbrook because this was how you was able to play the Rockets when they had Chris Paul. Chris Paul had the ability to create plays off single coverage, but at times Chris Paul looked like a shell of himself. Now you got a guy who can't shoot. I don't care if like I said, Russell Westbrook has games like he did against the Clippers, and guys claim, "Oh man, he's the best point guard in the league." No, he's not. He had this game against Utah, and he had this game against Portland. It's not consistent. He cannot shoot. And I say this about the Rockets every time. Every time the San Antonio Spurs play them, it's easy money. And now Steve Kerr, who's pretty much in a similar bracket of Greg Popovich in terms of how they coach and pretty much how similar they are in terms of, I guess, they style in terms of ball movement. They can see that if you have the personnel and the versatile defenders, right, you're going to compete against the Rockets. And Rockets play in the way where if you make it an IQ game, they're going to give you the game. Beavis and Butthead are the lowest IQ superstar duo in the NBA.
And this is the guy that won't quit. Now, if you watch the game, he still kept playing till the final buzzer. That's his DNA, right? I don't like the fact that the Rockets were not aggressive out of the double team. They were not aggressive.
Because James Harden has zero hustle to his game. James Harden is unconditioned. He made his body to where he can draw fouls and step back three. He walks up the court. Like I don't know what world this brother is in, but guys can see how tired this man is. I tell people this all the time. Run actions on him. Make him defend. He may make those step back threes, but most often than not, he's going to miss most of them, and he's going to disappear in the final moments of the game. He's not going to be effective enough in the final moments of the game. He's going to try to egregiously draw a foul. If not, he doesn't know what to do with it. He's going to take a stupid shot.
This is a very flawed team, but typically this is a very fearless team. So the fact that Russell Westbrook had a poor shooting night, that should not surprise anyone.
Fearless, more like shameless.
Historically a 30% shooter, right? Shooting 24% from three this year. That's not a surprise. The surprise I had was the lack of sense of urgency that they had against the Warriors. James Harden sort of just...
I had enough of this nonsense that the Rockets believe that they can just go out there and expect wins. This also comes back to expecting the unexpected. They did this crap in Game 6 when Kevin Durant was hurt and Austin Rivers said they thought they were just going to go up in there and hit him in the mouth. It pretty much telling you they thought they was going to beat him by 15 plus 20. You have to play. It just is what it is. Draymond Green was healthy. Draymond Green had a good game. So you have to go out there and earn your wins in the NBA, especially if you're the Rockets. You're not the Clippers. You're not even LA to a certain degree. You guys are up and down, right? You guys need chemistry because if you do not have that chemistry, you will not win. You need continuity. If you do not have that continuity, you won't win. You need every edge that you can, and you surely need home court advantage. That's what you really need. You can't just come out here thinking that you're going to roll over Golden State.
Drew two and kicked it and said, you guys play 4-on-3 and make something happen. Nothing happened besides Russell Westbrook trying to force the issue. Now, again, I will still be optimistic. This is their last chance for me. They're really trying me. I will be optimistic and say this was just the one game. You know, the Warriors went bah humbug.
Look at that nonsense. Look at this nonsense. I just saw that. Like the brother, he does straight lines to the basket. No crossover, no nothing. He may do a Euro step, but he does straight lines to the basket. Like he does this to draw contact and draw a foul.
Last chance for me. They're really trying me. I will be optimistic and say this was just the one game. You know, the Warriors went bah humbug for the holidays, right? I will be optimistic in the sense that with Russell Westbrook, we can talk about his lack of shooting, right? With Russell Westbrook, the Rockets last year were 27th in pace.
This man has the most boring game I've ever seen in my entire life. Listen, look, there's a lot of guys with boring games. However, I just haven't seen a more boring player in my life. He's the most boring NBA player. And listen, guys, James Harden, and I tell you I tell you this by being a fanboy or a hater. Do not be a fanboy of a player. You're gonna be subjective and put your feelings into it. And do not be a hater because you're gonna evaluate them with hatred. I do not hate James Harden. James Harden is his own man. However, I'm stating it how it is. James Harden is a guy that racks up numbers because he is allowed to do this than any other player in the history, probably besides Will, than any other player in the history of the game. Any other player in the history of the game. He has a coach that allows him to do it. He has an owner, GM really, that allows him to do it. He has free reign and like I said, you got to be a great player to do it. He's a great player. But when adversity hits, you see who this man really is. And I'm not saying that Warriors expose him. When he has games like this, right? When Golden State Doesn't matter who they playing out there. Golden State still got the blueprint to beat you, right? So if those young guys accidentally execute that blueprint well, you guys gonna have to play. So Golden State accidentally execute that blueprint well, and you guys did not have no sense of urgency to play well. Now, if Rockets would have lost by, um, I would say if Rockets would have lost by single digits or won by single digits, then it wouldn't be a story to me. However, the fact they allowed 116 and they didn't score enough against this Warriors team, and I know this Warriors team, quote unquote, claims to be hot. They are a bad defensive team. It seems they found the lineup that they like, but you can't be if you trying to be a contender. You trying to go out there and try to beat the Clippers or the Lakers or the Milwaukee to a degree. You can't be just blowing games like this. The Clippers and the Lakers can't just come in. And guys had disappointing losses. Like Clippers went out and lost to the I believe Clippers lost to the what's that team they just lost to? They lost to the team the Thunder. I think that's the team they lost to. And the Thunder 15-4. Thunder been playing great. But you can't be losing to the Warriors. It just is what it is, especially in the fashion of this. Because a team can take the Warriors' blueprint because the Warriors are going to intelligently, right, strategically beat you because they have a strategic coach. Guys can call Steve Kerr overrated if they want to. But here's the fact. Steve Kerr is not overrated. Steve Kerr is a great, diverse offensive coach. He played under Phil. He played under Greg. And he saw Mike D'Antoni. The diverse of this man's offensive system is really second to Greg Popovich. Probably third to Brad Stevens. But I think he's more diverse than Brad. He is a great offensive coach. Steve Kerr just struggles with rotations at times, and Steve Kerr could be too patient, too patient. However, he is a great offensive coach. He, like I said, played under Greg. He got a bit of that strategical and psychological edge, a bit of the psychological edge that Phil used to have. Phil was a great psychological coach. Greg is a great strategical coach. He has a bit of both of those. So a good team can take this Warriors blueprint, being that there are going to be a way better team than this Warriors team, and execute this on the Rockets and dare Russell Westbrook to beat them. And I guarantee Russell Westbrook is going to have about one game where he shows out.
Year, they're third. That's changed when Brody walked through the door. They've got guys that push it on possessions, and typically they play fearlessly. They don't give up. Just as likely as they are to give you 10 and 30, right? 10 and 30 field goal percentage, they can also give you 20 and 30. So another night, like leading into this stretch, they were having great offensive. They were top 3 in offensive efficiency. They still are. It just...
Why they got the third stringers on here? Where's Stephen A at? Where's Max at? They got the third stringers on here. Then they got Damon Jones. Oh, man. Give me a break.
It's a very bad night for the Houston Rockets, but I'm going to give them one pass.
The boy's sitting over there looking like a professional Teddy Graham. The boy here look like a graham cracker.
I'm going to say this, Janae. I like your Rockets. I'm from Houston as well. Born in Galveston, like Rachel.
The boy like he got the gout. The boy like he got the gout. The boy like he got 3 gouts.
Pointed out during the break. But this is the problem that I have. And Daryl Ray Williams, I want you to open your ears to this. Until they diversify their offense, they're going to be an exciting team to watch.
Not that, but I agree with you.
In the regular season, and that's it. Because come playoff time, like Steve Kerr did last night, because he's a championship coach, okay?
Give Steve Kerr his credit. I understand a lot of guys evaluate Golden State with hatred due to what Kevin Durant did. But I will not take away the type of coach Steve Kerr is. He is a great coach, and people just have to accept the fact that he is a better coach, strategical coach, and better offensive coach than Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson just had a better backbone. If you were struggling with guys that had in terms of locker room problems, what Draymond Green did wouldn't have flied under Mark Jackson. No, without question, it would not have flied under Mark Jackson. Steve Kerr is too patient and lost a bit of backbone. However, Steve Kerr know how to access in terms of the other aspects of the game, such as strategic, psychological, and how to run the system, and he's extremely patient. And he's disciplined. This is why Warriors get down and they do not panic. Warriors are one of the most disciplined teams in the league.
He put a defense
That's
in
why they was able to catch up a lot of leads.
where I'm not gonna let James Harden play. Okay, I'm gonna make everybody else do what they do. If you can make shots, you can make shots. But I'm counting.
And this is why I said D'Antoni ain't got a backbone. You should have automatically decided to play Russell Westbrook less minutes and threw another shooter into the lineup. Because when you double team Harden, you should have put a shooter in the lineup. It should not have been Russell Westbrook's game. Should have just played him less minutes. A lot of these coaches be afraid of what the player's going to go off on them. This is why D'Antoni cleans Harden's beard every morning. This is what I said about him. Beavis and Butthead rules him.
That if I take away the 39.8 or 40 points a game that James Harden is going to give me, I have a chance to win. And that's what Golden State did last night.
Yeah, listen, I gotta agree. I just think that it's just too top heavy with James Harden and what he does to the table, what he brings to the table. Look, we saw what the Golden State Warriors did, and James Harden mentioned it, how they trapped him early to get the ball out of his hand. We know with Russell Westbrook, he's not an efficient player. He's going to take a lot of shots. Okay, they don't have Eric Gordon back. I think getting Eric Gordon back.
Eric Gordon was the player that was supposed to have taken Russell Westbrook's spot. If he was healthy, a good coach would have sat down. I know Greg would have sat down Russell Westbrook. He would have told him, "You ain't playing much minutes this game. It's not your game. I understand you're gonna play hard, not this game." He would have played Eric Gordon, and when they would have double teamed Harden, then it would have forced Golden State to break that double team.
It's going to help their offense some because he's a guy that can get his own shot and he can hit 3-pointers. But when you look at some of the other pieces, Clint Capella, I
mean, and it's a shame that a lot of these guys are afraid of Russell Westbrook because if Houston doesn't work out for Russell Westbrook, where is he going to go? So you should already have the leverage to sit the brother down when it's not working.
Capella would be advancing his game kind of like Pascal Siakam, has advanced his game with the Toronto Raptors.
Clint Capella, did he say Clint Capella doing that? Let me stop. Let me go back.
Clint Capella, I thought Clint Capella would be advancing his game kind of like Pascal Siakam, has advanced his game.
Clint Capella doesn't have the handles, but I'm sure he's not comparing those two. Clint Capella is a guy who he has a slow reaction. He's the guy that's good only because of the spacing of the Houston Rockets. He realized that. He's like a Tristan Thompson. He lift weights and he's going to catch lobs, and when he's under the basket, he's going to throw guys out the way and dunk. If he's further away from the basket and he has to use footwork, it's not going to work out for him. He has to be under the basket because that's the type of condition that he is in. And Hakeem Olajuwon is probably the greatest, and really is the greatest footwork center in the league, in my opinion, in the history of the game. The best footwork center in the history of the game. He should at least try to learn something from him, because he can't do anything 8-9 feet away from the basket against a defending center. Draymond Green could just get him away from under the basket. Willie Cauley-Stein is tall. He could just get him away from under the basket and force him to use his skill set. Clint Capella doesn't have the reflexes nor the foot speed to do that. Clint Capella just a lob catcher.
With the Toronto Raptors, PJ Tucker. Where's PJ Tucker at?
PJ Tucker is just pretty much a glue guy. He can't create his own shot. He's a glue guy, a guy who wants to stand in the corner and shoot a bunch of threes. That's it.
So this team with the Houston Rockets, it seems like when they get to a certain point, when things get confusing on offense, let's just dump it to James Harden and let's just clear out.
Well, that's their system. Don't blame the role players. Eric Gordon and guys were saying it wasn't fun last year. This is what Harden wants. Harden wants to score 38 a game and win a championship and be the first guy that scored above 35 a game and win the championship. This is what he wants. You have to play a team game to win. They're running 5-out isolation plays. If you look at that game, it's 5-out isolation. When Harden gets double teamed, they swing it. Run some cut plays, right? Run a handoff cut, right? Run some mid-range plays. Put Austin Rivers in. He's another ball handler. Do something.
James Harden go to work That's not the form. They've been going off of that formula now for a couple years. It hasn't gotten them anywhere, and I continue to see that it's going to be the same. They're going to do the same
Well, 5 out or 4 out with Clint Capella in the paint.
thing moving along the rest of the season because they don't really have anything outside of James Harden.
Yeah, the difference, though, is that it's been the shooting. Everyone's critical of the shooting, right? Like, we'll see who can step up on the perimeter. Eric Gordon coming back is absolutely
But they have nothing else. They have nothing to fall back on, right? This is why I say you got to practice distinctions. This is what I was raving about with LeBron in terms of LeBron doesn't have a go-to move, but he has an extinction. However, it's like just there. If LeBron had a go-to move, the three-point shot would be way more effective. This is the reverse for the Rockets. The Rockets have a go-to offense. It's the three-point shot, but they have no extinction. They have nothing to fall back on when that fails. It's like a person. They're pretty much like DeMar DeRozan of threes. Once you take that away from them, they are useless. They have nothing else. DeMar DeRozan go-to move is the mid-range shot, but he does not have the three-point extinction. So once you take away the mid-range shot from DeMar DeRozan, he can do nothing else.
going to be a boost. Now, I know they do need to have more of a team-oriented, team type of basketball philosophy, but Eric Gordon coming back, career, 16 points per game, 37% three-point shooter, that will allow Russell Westbrook to take a little of the pressure off of having to force the ball. But the reason why I think Russell Westbrook forces the shots is because he's looking to his left and he's looking to his right and he's seeing teammates lack the confidence to make plays, right?
No, he's forcing shots because he's Russell Westbrook. And the other teammates lacking the confidence to make plays, that's because they can do nothing else. They have no guys who can put the ball on the floor. Austin Rivers is one. Daniel House tries to be one. Eric Gordon is going to be another one. Eric Gordon is putting the ball on the floor a lot more, which is good. He is very good. And he's putting that isolation into his game. And he's an underrated finisher. He's very strong. Eric Gordon is a strong player. But however, Russell Westbrook forcing shots is Russell Westbrook. He was open. A normal star open would have forced the shot too. He just didn't convert because he is inefficient.
Russell Westbrook can make plays. Not many point guards in this league are dominant point guards that can also rebound the ball. But most importantly, if there's the biggest criticism of the Rockets, it's that they quit or at least give up or have too many struggles in the playoffs. And largely that's because they're too dependent on James. There's
No, they don't quit. They just have nothing else to do when the 3 points are falling.
Such thing as too dependent on James Harden. He gets better each and every year. I almost think that we normalize how
No, he don't get better each and every year. The league is softer in the regular season each and every year. But the playoffs don't seem to change in that aspect.
great he is. And he was efficient yesterday. It's just that they didn't have the playmakers. But when they bring their shooter back, Eric Gordon, who's very soon to return, I think those playmakers will be able to make better plays knowing that they have better shooters on the perimeter.
And I'm okay with that, Janae, but my problem is this, okay? If you have Russell Westbrook out there, he's an MVP caliber player, okay? You're making him into a shooting guard. That's not his position. I mean, I'm okay with him shooting the threes or whatever. If he's making them, if he's not making them, he's going to do more things on the
And even if you guys wasn't going to run no cut plays, you guys probably should have had James Harden play off the ball more.
offensive end to negate the fact that he's not making shots. But Mike D'Antoni, you can't turn him into a shooting guard. He's shooting 20% or less from the three-point line.
Russell Westbrook is a shooting guard by nature. He's going to shoot anyway.
I'm saying get some side-to-side movement. I'm not saying go away from what you do with James Harden and the ISOs and the pick and roll with Capella when you got him. I'm not saying go totally away from it, but add a little bit more to your package.
Everyone went nuclear. Everyone sort of flip-flops, but I'm consistent. I know y'all all claim Texas, but I'm consistent, okay? Everyone was going nuclear early in the season when the Rockets' defense was struggling. I kept telling people, guess what? When they start knocking down shots,
They allowed 116 points to the Warriors. Get out of here.
that means that not only will the opponents be getting, like, they had a free reign. Rockets miss, and they're starting their offense in transition from the three-point line. And the Rockets cannot defend, especially when they're missing.
Well, Chuck said it real. They're not the type of team that defend. I believe it's either Kenny or Chuck. A lot of teams defend and let their defense create opportunities. Rockets are a team that has to make shots, then play defense. If they don't make shots, they don't play defense.
shots. Now, when they make shots, you take it out of bounds, and then they can set up their defense. Eric Gordon is going to make shots. He will, period. James Harden will shoot the ball more typically than Russell Westbrook, period. So when the Rockets play to that blueprint, they have a better chance at making shots, they have a better chance at setting up their defense, and they have a better chance at competing. I still have the Rockets as sleepers, but Lord, hear me, please. This is the final pass I will give to my team.
Does Eric Gordon coming back get you to the NBA Finals?
I don't think anyone expected them to be in the NBA Finals, but I think they can make it to the semifinals and make some noise. So I'm keeping it realistic still. But
Tillman for Tito.
No, that's nonsense. They're supposed to be a contender. Rockets could very easily win the championship. I won't say easily. Rockets could win the championship. They could also get bounced in the first or second round. That would depend on what I said. Russell Westbrook and James Harden's basketball IQ. The reason I'm not going to blame Mike D'Antoni is because James Harden controls Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni cleans Harden's beard. So if James Harden decides to be a smart player, Mike D'Antoni can't influence anything he does because Mike D'Antoni just going to be a puppet anyway. So I'm not going to blame Mike D'Antoni. It's going to be up to James and Russell Westbrook. Too many times do these guys fall under adversity. Right? Their IQ is the reason why they fall under adversity. So it's going to come down to this, just like it has come down to it in the past. It's going to come down to it right now in the playoffs. And if they can somehow get it, which I don't think they will, if they can somehow get it together, then they can win the championship because the offense that they have can go at anybody.